sponsored by Ford. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer today. Ford is the best in Texas.
Oh, there you see the CN Tower just outside of the Rogers Center. And there's the big sexy getting ready to go this afternoon. Bartolo Colon in our Shiner Box spotlight this afternoon. Making yet another start for the Rangers. And CJ, he's been consistently good for this team.
Yeah, it's really been nice to have Bartolo Colon here and provide some stability in the rotation. These were the 7 perfect innings that he threw on April 15th, and this was a fun one in Houston as he made a run at it. Wondered if he could get that complete game. But it was all said and done, it didn't happen, but it was a really strong game for Bartolo Colon. Then on April 20th, 5 2/3, he did allow the 4 earned runs. Location wasn't as good as we had seen from him throughout his career when he has been on, and we know Bartolo can run into a little bit of trouble when he misses with his fastball. When it's all said and done, though, it's been a good start to the season. And Bartolo Colon has made 15 starts here at Rogers Center. This will be number 16, 7-4 record, respectable ERA of 4.68, 3 complete games. Could we see another? We know, of course, when he is on, he does a really nice job with his pitch count. So we will see here for Bartolo Colon.
All right, looks like he's already going to work on the gum. Getting that ready for this afternoon. Yeah, here we go. He's got quite the ritual. All right, so let's get into the lineups. Start with the Rangers. Delano DeShields starting things off. And it's Shin-Soo Choo, Isaiah Kiner Falefa in the 3-hole today. First time in his career. Nomar Mazara batting cleanup. Gallo, Renato Nunez, Jurickson Profar, Chirinos, and Rua rounding things out this afternoon.
And they'll be going up against Jaime Garcia. And we'll take a look at the pitch arsenal for the Blue Jays left-hander. Fastball 59% of the time. Both 4 and 2 seam fastballs that are sit around 89, 90 miles per hour. He's got the slider as well. That is the first secondary offering for Garcia. And just a 111 batting average against that pitch so far this year. Changeup and curveball as well for Jaime Garcia. And also take a look, while we got some time here, the defense that will be behind him this afternoon. Curtis Granderson, Kevin Pillar, Teoscar Hernandez in the outfield here for the Blue Jays. In the infield, it'll be Solarte and Diaz on the left side. Gurriel getting a start this afternoon with Justin Smoak at right, and Luke Malley catching. Russell Martin, the starting catcher, getting the afternoon off.
All right, so Garcia ready to go. His 5th start of the year. 2 wins, 1 loss, and a 4.57 earned run average. Lino in there. Shields hitting 185 to this point of the season. And the first pitch on the way. That one is low for ball 1. Well, it's just the 8th game of the year for DeShields. Back off the disabled list, and since coming back, he's been very good. Takes high, 2-0 the count. Was 1 for 4 yesterday with a run scored. Has 4 hits and a couple steals in the 5 games since coming back off the DL. And you know, look, he may have come back a little earlier than he would have anticipated, and has talked about, you know, maybe there'd be some soreness in the hand, but other than that, doesn't feel like there's no danger of hurting the bone that was removed.
That's right.
And he's played through it and done quite well.
He has. The defense has been really good. He has thrown particularly well in the outfield. As Delino, and the quality of that bats have been very good.
Ooh, takes a close one for a strike. 3-1.
You see a little natural cut on that fastball from Jaime Garcia. Watch this 4-seamer at 89 miles an hour, and it comes back just a little bit. Something to keep an eye on against right-handed hitters. When he leaves it out there, it's fine, but he misses over the plate, he becomes susceptible. There's one right there. Delino let it go by. A lot of times with left-handers, we see that real good sink that goes away from right-handed hitters. So watch this. Watch the glove. Watch that ball come back. Not unusual for Jaime Garcia. He's got a lot of natural cut on his 4-seam fastball.
So he's fought back to make it a full count. The 3-2. Strike 3 called. So Delino saw 6 pitches. The first 3 missed. The next 3 unfortunately got him.
Yeah, and 3 fastballs after the 3-0 count, and they were all really close. You see this one, and right on the corner. Our Fox Tracks had it just off the plate. Maley, though, did a pretty nice job of presenting this. Watch the little bit of the movement on the glove. Not much, just subtle. Probably bought his pitcher a borderline strike. on 3-2.
All right, so one away, and now Shin-Soo Choo batting second in the order today. Not a real surprise there. Sixth consecutive game he's been slotted in the 2 hole since Delano's returned, and he watches one in the dirt. And the news really today is that the man following him, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, but they're connected, and there's a reason. Garcia's 1-0. And that one in there, 1-1. So, a lot of talk today about this lineup beforehand. And Jeff Bannister said, look, I mean, this is just not your standard situation, your typical lineup, the way you think of it in the 70s, 80s, maybe in the 1990s. So I'm trying to stack on base guys, do a good job getting on in front of our big hitters. And to that end, when Kiner-Falefa was batting second and Choo was in the leadoff spot, he felt like those two worked in tandem really well together, both of them getting on quite a bit, and felt like that might be a good combo. Put them right ahead of Mazara and Gallo.
I think it makes sense, and you start thinking about how the lineup is built and the personnel that you have, and of course with the Rangers right now, with no Elvis Andrus, no Rougned Odor, no Adrian Beltre, you have to make do with what you have, and this one kind of makes sense. You have your guys in the middle of the lineup, Nomar Mazara, Joey Gallo, that are going to be your run producers. So the idea of getting some on-base guys on in front of them is a good one. Now, if you don't have guys, if you don't have ones that you're confident in that can get on base, then I'm a believer in maybe moving everybody up.
Well, back-to-back strikeouts for Jaime Garcia. Well, the reason these lineups look so different and are jumbled from day to day, you have to take into consideration the personnel lost by the Rangers. Elvis Andrus on the disabled list with a broken elbow. Beltre recently with the grade 1 hamstring strain. Rougned Odor also working back off a hamstring pull. So I mean, you have 3 of your primary guys, a third of your order down.
And they all look really happy there. And I'm thinking maybe for spring training photos they should do also a sad photo for the times that they're on the DL. But hopefully they never have to use it, but maybe if things aren't going well, you could have
idea.
Yeah, right. Turn that smile upside down, get a little bit of a frown for the times maybe when we have to show your picture because you can't be in the lineup. Or maybe just based on how a player's going that day. Right? Is that a good stretch? Smiley face. If he's struggling, sad face.
Garcia with a near miss right there. 1-1 on Kiner-Falefa. Garcia in no big hurry. And that one framed nicely by Maley again. 1-2. Now Garcia, 31 years old now. 6'2", 215, signed through this year by the Blue Jays. Born and mostly grew up in Mexico. When he was in high school, moved across the border to come stateside. The 1-2 pitch. And that's fouled over to the right side. And we'll do it again. Was born and raised primarily in Reynosa, Mexico. And has since given quite a bit back to the area. He funds scholarships for kids to attend school, participate in sports back in his hometown of Mexico. 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3, and Garcia comes out firing this afternoon. Strikes out the side in order in the top of the first. And now Bartolo Colon out to go to work. Trying to quiet top of the first inning for the Rangers, and now the Blue Jays to get after it a little bit. Let's take a look at their lineup. 14 wins, 11 losses. Curtis Granderson in the leadoff spot at left field. Teoscar Hernandez, Justin Smoke, and then Yannervis Solarte in the cleanup spot. It's Pilar, Gurriel, and Morales the DH. Luke Maley catching, and Aledmus Diaz, the shortstop, rounds it out for Toronto. Colon ready to go and puts the first one right in there for a strike.
Not surprising that it was a fastball either from Bartolo Colon at 86 miles per hour. They say not a surprise because here's the arsenal for Bartolo Colon. 86% of the time he will throw a fastball. He'll mix in the changeup. And he'll mix in that slider once in a while. He has not allowed a hit on that slider this year. Now, of course, it's a pretty small sample size as he only uses that pitch 6% of the time.
It's 1-2 to Granderson, and a bouncing ball right side. Shift was on, so it's Profar who comes up with it. Throws over to first, and Granderson retired to start the bottom of the first.
Take a look at the Rangers defense, which is delivered to you by Demontron RV. Ryan Rua getting a start in left. Delano DeShields and Nomar Mazara is in right. In the infield, Nunez, Profar, Kiner Falefa, and Joey Gallo. And Robinson Chirinos, after a couple of days off, back behind home plate, catching Bartolo Colon.
One out, and Hernandez takes off the plate for a ball. Teoscar Hernandez, 300 average now. 10 RBIs. He has been really good for the Blue Jays this year. 1-1 the count. We touched on it a little bit last night, but Hernandez was a big part of a deadline deal last year with Houston. Francisco Liriano went to Houston, and Hernandez came this way along with Norichika Aoki at the deadline. And Hernandez was fantastic in September for Toronto. 2-2 the count.
So no Norichika for you? Tried to go like really authentic there. Sounded like
you did, or I did?
You did.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm not 100% sure because there's even a lot of Aoki that can get you tied up a little bit as well.
Another bouncer again to Profar, and he has it over to first in time to get Hernandez 2 away. I don't, you take your you take your best swing.
I'm not even confident. I'll be honest with you. I should know better, having played over there a couple of years, and I still struggle. But he's not here. Is he with anybody? He's not even in the States, so it's only when Hernandez is hitting that we have to worry about it.
Exactly. Here's Justin Smoke now. So Colon gets a couple of ground outs right out of the gate. Smoke yesterday had the 4 hits. I mean, he was the big part of the Blue Jays attack last night, and he's had great numbers in his career against Bartolo Colon. Well, I don't, great numbers might be pushing it a little far, but a couple of home runs, 8 for 28 against him. But he's swinging a hot bat right now for Toronto. And he lifts this one high in the air. Medium deep, maybe shallow center. And DeShields takes care of it. So it's a 1-2-3, bottom of the first. All right, nothing to 1. Getting off to a good start here this afternoon, second inning. And our TXU Energy power player to watch is Nomar Mazara, who just happens to be leading things off here. The timing is uncanny. His last 4 road games, look at that, 6 RBIs, better than 400 average. And maybe more importantly, a little note at the bottom. With runners in scoring position, he has been locked in for his last 7. But he takes a strike here to begin the second inning.
Nomar's been pretty special in those spots over his young career. We talk about the RBIs with him going up over 100 last year. Well, you have to be good with runners in scoring position. Any kind of big spot, slow heartbeat, we talk about it a lot with him. He's on that path right now.
Good night last night for Nomar. Has the average up over 300 now. And he takes low. It's 2-1. Well, Jaime Garcia struck out the side in order. At the top of the first, the idea was that there would be somebody on in front of Nomar. Instead, he has to lead off the second. And he takes a high strike. It's 2-2.
Garcia has had some struggles against left-handers this year, and there's 3 of those. Well, 4 if you count Jurickson Profar in the lineup, the switch hitter. No bat right-handed. But look what he's done against lefties. 350 batting average. OPS over 1,300 so far. It's a minimum of 20 lefties faced, and so it's been a little bit of a struggle for Jaime Garcia. So for Nomar Mazara, for Chube Gallo, it's certainly some encouraging news. But if he throws that breaking ball today, it could be a little bit tough.
So 4 up, 4 down for Garcia, all on strikes.
And this really is the key to success for any lefty. When you think about left-handed hitters, a good breaking ball you can throw for a strike, but then also throw below the zone and try to get left-handed hitters to chase. And that was a good one from Garcia. He's currently on pace for 27 strikeouts.
Yep. Programming alert.
That'd be a record.
Call your friends. That would be a record. Here's Gallo. Average at 240 for Gallo.
You have 4 20 strikeout games, right? Officially on record. 2 by Clemens, 1 by Kerry Wood, and then Max Scherzer did it. There was the unofficial one, which I still don't understand, by Randy Johnson, because that game went extra innings.
Right.
He struck out 20, but the game went longer, so technically he doesn't get credit for a 20 strikeout game.
Even though he did it in the regulation.
Yeah.
9.
I never loved that part.
Silly.
Yep. But of the 4 official, I was fortunate to see a couple of them. Was in the bullpen.
More than 2, right?
I saw 2 of them.
You were 2 of them? Okay. You were there for Kerry Wood.
Yeah, Kerry Wood sitting in the bullpen as an opponent. And then I pitched in the game in which Roger Clemens did it the second time in 1996. He did it in, I think, 86 and 96. It was like 10 years apart. Something absurd for Roger Clemens.
How'd you pitch that day?
I got really lucky. I was coming out of the bullpen. Left the bases loaded with nobody out, and A.J. Sager got me out of it. The things you remember. This game.
What do you mean he got you out of it?
None of the runs scored.
Oh, you left the 3 on and
I threw an inning of relief.
Oh,
I went
boy.
back out for a second inning. I loaded the bases. They took me out. It's enough of this nonsense. They got me out of there, and then he got me out of it without any of those runs scoring. So it looked better on paper than it really was. And that's really the goal when it's all said.
Right. Shift on here against Gallo. Saw the 3 infielders on the right side. 2-1. Well, that looked good, and it is a strike.
That's interesting to think that Joey Gallo might have saw that pitch down. Give you an idea of some of the carry on this one. There's a little bit of movement there, and you see Maile again. Watch the glove. Watch this ball go across right near the bottom of the zone. See how he brings it up right there? He kind of tips his cap a little bit, tips his hand when he does that. That's why Joey thought that was a ball.
And a full count, and not the first full count this afternoon for Garcia. So he has 4 strikeouts to the 4 hitters he has faced, but you can see the pitch count there at 26. And it's liable to get away from him in a hurry at this pace. The payoff, and Gallo takes ball 4. So Rangers have the first base runner of the afternoon.
That's a good ball call I like that one. Certainly Joey Gallo does. Jaime Garcia does not. But Bartolo Colon had thrown a pitch that was just off the plate as well. And you see Maley working hard to try to make that look like a strike. But it was off the plate.
Now Renato Nunez. I'll tell you, we talk a lot about the evolution of the game. Strikeouts, walks, home runs. The 3 true outcomes. We're seeing a lot of that already in this one. Couldn't be a starker example, I suppose, as Garcia comes in on Nunez. Scott Miller, he's a baseball writer. We'll say CBS.
Used to be CBS.
Well, who is he now?
Who is Scott writing
should have
for
known
now?
that.
He's not writing for not FanRag.
Tossed out a little note.
Bleacher Report.
Okay, Bleach Report. There you go. Thank you. 1-0 to Nunez. Swing and a miss. So anyway, yesterday he threw out this note that now this includes all 30 major league teams. 33% of plate appearances this year have ended in a strikeout, a walk, or a hit batter. So forget the home run. There have been 389 more strikeouts than hits this year across Major League Baseball. It goes a little to the pace of play conversation. 1-1. This ball lifted out to left field, but gonna hang up a little bit. Granderson coming on. 2 away.
Well, I think what's important with that conversation, and it certainly is an early trend that you have to keep an eye on. Certainly, Rob Manfred will keep an eye on it. But what I care about is what do fans think, right? And that's really what Major League Baseball should be concerned about, is when they're watching these games and they're seeing more strikeouts and walks, and you mentioned the hit by pitches and maybe some of that lack of action that's going on as far as base hits and runs being scored. How do the fans feel about it? Does it still feel like the same game? Do they still enjoy watching the game? Are we losing fans because of the increase in strikeouts and walks and the lack of balls being put in play? That's what matters the most. It's a little bit of a different brand of baseball, but what do our fans think?
Profar hammers this ball down the left field line. If it stays fair, that is gone. Wow. On the facing above the second deck of seats. Profar with a blast to left field starts the scoring this afternoon. 2-0 Rangers. That's his first long ball of the year.
Well, we know fans like that, and that's what they like to see, especially when you're a Ranger fan, to see Jurickson Profar absolutely unload on this pitch from Jaime Garcia. You see it right down the middle. He gets the head out. This thing got out in a hurry, and you're going to see it hit right up by that red sign, right off of it. That is a bomb from Jurickson Profar. He was pushing 300 level there.
Yeah, and that thing wasn't losing any steam either. Man. So Profar with a bomb to make it 2-0 Rangers, and here is Robinson Chirinos.
He dropped Jurickson Profar to the 7th spot, and he answers with a big home run to kick things off here for the Rangers. He had good numbers against lefties coming in, hitting .273.
Garcia, meanwhile, he struggled a little bit with the home run ball. This ball hit the other way down the right field line. It's carrying well into the corner, and it's gone. Chirinos goes back to back with Profar. 4th of the year for Robinson. Rangers lead 3-0.
Robinson Chirinos made such an impact on this lineup a year ago with the power that we saw from him, and that continues. A little bit of a slow start offensively, but the extra base hits, the home runs have been there. This pitch was supposed to be in. It was on the outside edge, and watch Robinson keep the head down. Look how still his head is, right over the middle of his body, stays on this ball, and it's just hard enough to get it over the 100-meter sign.
Yeah, it was like 103 meters probably. Pounded it. Here's Rua. And Garcia. This is up and away. Well, Ryan Rua in the lineup this afternoon. Good to have him back. His 3rd stint now with the big club. He's leading the league in transactions in this month of April. And no doubt been somewhat frustrating for him. I mean, talking about a guy who started 13 of the Rangers' first 14 games in left field. Boy,
the Rangers put a sudden end to that strikeout streak that Garcia had going, 4 in a row to kick off this game, and then the walk, the fly ball. Now back-to-back home runs, and a big smile from Jerks and Profar.
They're setting up away here, 3-0 to Rua. And that one over the plate. Well, Ryan, when he was down with the Round Rock Express, recently had a 2-game stint down there. He went 3 for 6 with a home run, a double, drove in 4. And he hits this ball high in the air out toward right field.
Oh, come on.
Back goes Hernandez. He looks up, and that one is off the fence. Really kind of twisted him up. Rua heads for third, and he is in there sliding with a triple.
Holy throw right there from Hernandez, by the way, but Ryan Rua almost went back to back here as he hit that ball high off the wall. Might have been a little bit shaken up on the slide. Let's take a look at the swing first. Another good job here. You think about being in a fastball count and trying to get big, but instead for Ryan Rua, who is incredibly strong, this ball a long way. Thought he might have had himself a home run. Watch Hernandez. See him as he gets near the wall, just misses it, but watch this throw. Look where he is. Well, 10, 12 feet maybe in front of the warning track. That is Vladimir Guerrero-like. My goodness. Oh, you got to be kidding me, Sid. I mean, see a little frustration there from Hernandez, maybe for not catching that ball.
Yeah, that type of thing you might, you just got to throw the glove up over the mouth on that one.
It's tough. It's so difficult to not react. Your emotions are always going to get the best of you. You certainly are not wanting to show up your teammate. But emotions are difficult to keep in, especially after the back-to-back home runs. You're looking for that third out. He thought he had it, but instead it's a triple for Ryan Rua.
So now Delino, who struck out looking in the first inning, corners are in a little bit on him. He takes a strike. Delino got ahead in the count in the first inning, 3-0, and then watched 3 consecutive strikes. Well, there you see corners in just a smidge. 2 away in the inning. Curveball. That's a called strike. I was starting to say before the Chirinos home run that Garcia's had trouble with the home run ball this year. He's now given up 7 home runs, and this just his 5th start. You're talking about 22, 23 innings pitched now. That's a lot. We're talking about a guy too who has really made a living on ground balls. This year though, the ground ball rate is way down. It's down like better than 15 points off his career average. Yeah, that bounces to the plate, 2-2.
Jaime Garcia struggling to find the zone today. Even though he had those strikeouts to kick off the game 4 in a row, he is at just 55% strikes up to this point. League average around 63%. The guy last year who was throwing 62% strikes.
2-2 to the Shields, and he stays alive. Been a 3-run inning for the Rangers. Yesterday the Rangers jumped out quickly. It was a 4-run first. That was a very rare sight. First inning has not been a real profitable one for Texas this year until last night. 2-2 pitch, and this one up the middle, backhand Gurriel, and the throw to first in time to get to Shields. Well, the Rangers post the first runs of the afternoon. Jerks and Profar with a 2-run bomb. Robinson Chirinos follows with a shot the other way, and the Rangers lead it 3-0. homerless drought, one of the longest in baseball, and Chirinos followed with one of his own. They've given a 3-run cushion to Bartolo Colon, who was nifty in the first inning and misses up and away to Solarte with ball 1. Now Nervis Solarte, Kevin Pillar, and Lourdes Gurriel in this second inning. And this one on the ground, off the glove of Nunez. Profar is there, and a nice throw gets Solarte, the old 5-6-3 put out.
Well, not exactly how you thought it was going to go down, but you'll take it every single time. You're going to see Nunez go to his left, everything he can to try to get to this ball and slow it down enough that Jerks and Profar can get to it. Makes a really good throw. Good job by Joey Gallo. Good stretch there. Bartolo Colon approves.
So that's why you work on the tip drill all the time.
Yeah.
I'll make sure you have that one down. Here's Kevin Pillar, and he takes a strike. Pillar might be the one guy in this lineup Colon would circle as a potential problem. You see his numbers at the bottom of your screen there, head to head, and he has had success against Bartolo, but misses that one, pops it up onto the right side, and Kiner Falefa puts it away. Our Kubota power stats today regarding Bartolo Colon. About his earned run average. You talk about new faces on new teams. Garrett Cole with the Astros this year, he's excelled, but Bartolo Colon, 3rd lowest ERA, you know, among guys resurfacing elsewhere this year.
He's done a good job, as have the guys that are in front of him. Garrett Cole, we've seen him enough already this year to see what he has done. He's been sharp. Jake Arrieta has gotten off to a tremendous start with the Phillies. I was having this conversation earlier today. Yu Darvish has gotten off to a slow start. He pitched well in his last one, but he's gotten off to a slow start with the Cubs. And kind of wonder a little bit if Jake Arrieta's got a chip on his shoulder. Maybe it seemed like the Cubs were not that interested in meeting him at his price, and he signed a 3-year deal with the Philadelphia Phillies and is off to a very nice start with them.
Fouled away by Gurriel. The count 1-2. But the Phillies have gone 15-5 since their home opener. That's a pretty good little run.
Playing some good baseball, no doubt about it. And people are ready to run Gabe Kapler out of town just a couple of games in, and he's got that team in 2nd place and 7 games above 500.
Another foul ball by Gurriel. This is his 6th big league start. He had been at Double-A prior to his call up at 347 down at Double-A this year. Limited time, of course. The 1-2. Foul back.
It's amazing he got to that ball right there. See how far in that was? Chance it was almost going to hit him. Because you know Bartolo Colon's got tremendous run on that fastball, and it keeps going in it. And he goes, realizing only one hand is going to do the trick.
And he swings and misses. The first strikeout victim of the afternoon for Bartolo Colon. 2 perfect innings so far for the Big Sexy.
Well, after all those fastballs, Bartolo Colon goes to the changeup, down and into Gurriel. He swings right over the top. The Rangers lead this one 3-0.
Nothing. And they had the 2, 3, and 4 hitters coming up here in the third. Chu struck out in the first. He's 0 for 1. And Garcia puts it on the outside corner for a strike. Average has dropped for Chu. Saw it there down to 231. Hitless in his last 8 at bats. They were just talking about the homerless drought for Profar that had reached 227 games prior to that home run. Well, Chu, certainly nothing on that scale, but has not homered in the last 7 games. I'm sorry, for Profar at bats, 227 at bats. Chu was on a nice little tear, though, up until this last week.
He was spoiling us a little bit with the early power that he had shown. Still scoring some runs, 16 on the year. It was tied with Joey Gallo prior to him scoring in the 2nd inning.
Behind the count here, a ball and 2 strikes. And rolls this one right side on the infield. Gurriel able to scoop it up. 1 out here with the 3rd inning. Time for a Chevy game break. Let's check in with John Radigan. All right, thanks, John. Here 3-0, and Kiner Falefa, that big open stance.
There's so many different ways to get where you want to be as a hitter, and you have so many stances that look unique, but a lot of guys end up in very similar positions. You'll watch the leg kick here, and when that foot comes down, goes straight at Jaime Garcia, and Kiner Falefa's in a really good balanced position. See that leg kick as it comes up, puts it right back down. Everyone a little bit different, trying to find what works for them. The open stance, the closed stance, the high leg kick, no leg kick.
Up high, Garcia missing consistently high in this at bat. Falls behind 3-0. Well, Kiner Falefa's hit safely in 8 of his last 9 games. Got a 365 average over that stretch, and he takes down the middle for a strike.
It's one of those pitches you're going to watch this on a 3-0 count. On the corner, close, maybe off. Be willing to bet a lot that that's not called a strike on an 0-2 count. You get the 3-0, the 0-2, and umpires will have a tendency to lean certain ways. But then what happens, because he called that pitch 3-1, a strike that was really borderline, you got to be ready to attack that pitch and cover that. And that's what Isaiah had to do right there.
And he goes down looking. Frustrating at bat for Kiner Falefa, 2 away here in the 3rd.
Really frustrating because of the 3-0 pitch that was called a strike. Jaime Garcia threw the same exact pitch on 3-1, and Isaiah had to swing at it, even though it was probably a ball. And then he comes back and he throws a pretty good fastball down in the zone. But it was the previous 2 fastballs that were probably out of the zone, and especially that 3-0 pitch that really changed the entire at bat.
So now Nomar Mazara. You were talking earlier about Garcia's troubles against lefties this year, hitting .350 against him with some power. And Mazara, at the same time, a guy who has impressed us this year with his ability to hit left-handed pitching. He's hitting .360 against lefties. 1-1 to count. We saw the numbers for the road with Nomar. Yeah, anyway, I guess when you're off to a good start, and Nomar is, you can carve up the numbers any which way you want, and they're going to look pretty good. But this right there tells the story going back to late last season, how he's turned things around dramatically against lefties.
Oof, and a tough call right there, but you're right. And he knows the strike zone really well. We talk about his swing a lot, the ability to use the entire field. That has to come in play if you're going to have a good batting average against lefties. You cannot be one-dimensional. You cannot be pull power. That would never work. That's not who Nomar is.
Shoots this one to the hole on the left side, and that's a base hit. Another one against a left-handed pitcher, and Nomar continues to swing the bat really well.
That's what makes it work right there, especially in a 2-strike count. Not trying to do too much, not trying to get too big. We have this conversation often with Nomar Mazara. Fastball that is up. He just finds himself a hole on the left side.
So base runner in front of Joey Gallo. Walked in the second inning. He's homered off Garcia in the past. Whoa, big breaking ball turns him away. That was a big curve out of the hand, you could tell, but it kept kind of boring in on him.
Yeah, watch Joey from the side, does a good job of turning in. Really important on pitches that are inside, but this is a curveball that just started up way more up and in than Jaime Garcia wanted it. And had Joey been wearing a looser jersey, he might have found himself on first base. That's why having muscles is overrated.
1-1. Loosened himself up on that swing, that's for sure. 8 home runs already this year, 19 RBIs for Gallo. And the breaking ball misses in.
We've really seen Jaime Garcia go to that breaking ball a lot more, especially starting in the second inning. But second time through the order, he has used it a bunch. You know, he threw all fastballs to Delino DeShields in his first at bat when he had the 6-pitch strikeout. But right away, second inning, first at bat for Delino, started using that breaking ball a little bit more, and we've seen it more now here in the third inning.
Runner goes. That one was in the dirt. Maley had a little trouble digging it out, and Mazara picked up the opportunity to take off. That will likely go down as a wild pitch.
Well, good hustle by Nomar Mazara and a really good read. No hesitation from him at all, and gets a secondary lead. He'll get it right here, but as soon as he sees that ball down, he is gone. And this was a pretty good block by Maley, and probably even surprised. There's a secondary lead. As soon as it's down, he goes. I think Maley might have been caught off guard that Nomar went there because he didn't have a huge lead. You saw how short the lead was when the pitch was delivered, but it's the solid secondary lead, those couple of hops that he's taking as the pitch is delivered, that allowed him to take the base.
And I tempered it by saying it would be likely a wild pitch.
Yeah,
I saw a scoring decision earlier that still has me a little confused, and that was Ryan Rua, what we thought was a triple. They have scored an E9. 3-1 pitch. That's ball 4, so Gallo walks for a second time.
2 quality at bats here from Joey Gallo against the lefty to be able to take those 2 walks. As much as we've talked about Nomar certainly has put the big average up against left-handed pitching, but you see Joey Gallo taking walks. That tells you he's seen the ball pretty well out of the left-hander's hand.
So 2 men on now for Renato Nunez. Nunez with the start at third base this afternoon. He was out here yesterday taking ground balls in an empty Rogers Center, or so it seemed, cavernous in the afternoon, and there was a police dog. They walked around by an officer and started barking at the balls. They were he was on his knees at third, taking those ground balls, working on the hands. That's all a handful get behind him out in the outfield, and his dog was going crazy. He wanted to go out and get the balls. As Garcia delivers low to Nunez.
It almost seemed unfair probably to that dog.
Right.
Look at all those balls. Nobody's chasing them.
When do I get to play?
Yeah. Let me show you how to do it, Nunez. You're not supposed to miss them. You're supposed to catch them with your mouth.
It seemed mostly like fun, but it's a police dog too. Be a little unnerving. Boy, another wild pitch. This one gets away from Maley and rolls all the way into the dugout. And so everybody advances a base. Mazar to third, Gallo to second.
Now the rule, of course, is if they were stealing that, both the runners would go an additional base, but because they were not running on the play, as you see this ball way down in the dirt and kick off the left thigh of Luke Maley and just take a big bounce and a roll into the dugout. The ball that is thrown in by the fielder is 2 bases, but only if you're trying to advance.
A ball thrown off the mound. It's the only time.
Yeah, but if they were stealing, they would get the extra base, wouldn't they, or no?
High fly ball out to left field by Nunez, and Pilar is there. So Rangers lead 2 in scoring position. We played 2.5. Rangers leading it 3-0.
Was that Montreal?
No. It's a famous Canadian city.
Oh.
Shoot. Welcome to Toronto. We're going about in the third. Hey, the Josh Abbott Band is going to be performing a post-game concert on Sunday, May 6th, presented by Budweiser. It's a 2:05 game, Red Sox and Rangers. Then the concert immediately afterward. Get your tickets and field passes at texasrangers.com/concerts.
Speaking of Montreal,
yeah,
we'll get a little traction there, maybe.
Definitely, I think there's some interest.
A return to Montreal. Of course, we had Rob Manfred here. Was that opening day, right? Talk to him about that.
And the excuse, and that sounds like a bad word, but the priority, let's say, prior to expansion for Major League Baseball is to fix some situations they currently have, one in Oakland and one in Tampa. Figuring if they can get those sorted out nicely and fairly for everybody involved, then they can start thinking about expansion. Kendrys Morales, and he bounces this one shortstop, backing up Profar. He's got plenty of time with Morales running, and he throws him out.
It's a nice play. That was not an easy one for Jurch and Profar. You get caught in between. You have to make a decision. Do you go to try to get the ball in the short hop, play it back on the long hop? He did exactly that and made a strong throw. That's a long way to throw. Watch this ball here, especially for him going to his right. Not quite sure what kind of hop you're going to get. Remember, he had an issue with one yesterday, last night's game, where the ball jumped on him a little bit quicker than he expected. It's a nice job, and as you mentioned, plenty of time with Morales. What about, did you see this yesterday in Miami? Announced attendance at Marlins Park, 5,931.
On a Friday night.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a ballpark or a team that's going anywhere.
Luke Maley, hard grounder at third base. Nunez right there on top of it. 2 away. So Nunez getting the start today against the left-hander. Turns in a nice defensive play. Had the great effort last inning when he went diving for a ball and basically deflected it right to Profar. Today, Jeff Bannister, when asked about Renato Nunez, and you know, this is the perils of being a manager, right? Everybody's trying to put words in your mouth and define things for you, and it's tough when you're a manager. You know that it's a fluid situation at all times, but they were trying to back him into saying Nunez is in a bit of a platoon at the moment at third, and Banny basically finally kind of acquiesced, said, "Sure, you know." Call it a platoon.
Well, I think you never want to get boxed in completely as a manager, right? And that's part of it. And if you make a decision one day that Nunez is not going to start against a certain lefty, and maybe you have a reason behind that, you don't want to have to answer the question, well, I thought you said it was a platoon. No, you said it was a platoon. I didn't say it was a platoon. You get into semantics and a lot of back and forth.
Well, another ground ball. Colon doing what he does best, and the throw to first just in time to get Diaz. Boy, Profar maybe took a smidge extra on that one. All right, 3 quiet innings for the Blue Jays. Rangers lead 2-3.
Get to our Ford game summary and take a look at what's happened here with the Rangers so far, showing some power early on. First we saw Joey Gallo getting on base, but then it was Jurickson Profar with his first home run of the year, and it was a big one. You had Robinson Chirinos opposite field squeaking one out down the right field line. So the Rangers right now leading 3-0 behind some power bats, some quality at bats. Also a nice job by Bartolo Colon so far through 3 innings.
Yeah, you're talking about using an economy of pitches to this point. He has been very efficient. Is now the bottom third of the order for the Rangers in this fourth. Profar, Chirinos, Rua against Jaime Garcia, who's bumping up near 70 pitches already.
Bartolo has only used 32 pitches to get through his 3 innings of work. Puts him on pace for a 96 pitch complete game. Be his 4th year at the Rogers Center.
Say, he's done that before in this ballpark. There's a strike, 2-1 to Jurickson. So I mentioned earlier, Profar with the home run. You've got 227 at bats without a homer. Only Eric Sogard, John Jay, and Tony Wolters had longer homerless stretches. 3-1 to count. Wolters is up to 310 at bats. Jay 305. Sogard just a little bit ahead of where Profar was, but it resets.
Nobody has hit more home runs in their last at bat than Jurickson Profar.
Nope, that is a fact. Mike Winters, our plate umpire, halting play for a moment, and now there's some delay out near second base.
Gurriel looks like he might have something in his eye, or if he has a contact issue.
Yeah.
See there, that can't be fun.
Well, yeah, and you start to maybe get a little itch in your eye or something, and you scratch it out there. But these guys who've had dirt everywhere, pine tar, whatnot, doesn't take much to create a little bit of a mess.
We got to look at the pineapple. That worked out well.
Yeah,
seems to be okay. Sure, Jaime Garcia's, listen, you can't do anything about it, but in the middle of a tough count, which, by the way, this is 7 3-ball counts for Jaime Garcia. Let's come back and try to throw a strike after a little bit of a delay. Not even a strike, but a quality strike.
To a guy who blasted a home run off you last time up. 3-1. Profar hammers it down the third baseline. Whoa, a foul ball. Mike Malinsky down there at third was right on top of it. Had no reason to argue, except that from up here it looked fair.
Take a look here. This ball hit pretty hard, ended up being right down the middle. That's what we saw first. Boy, that is close. You know, and the judgment there is where was the ball as it bounced over third base, right? And that's a difficult call. First bounce was fair, but it doesn't matter where the first or second bounce was. It's when it goes by third base.
Profar battles his way through to a walk, and that's how we start this 4th inning.
Get one more pico. Here's a really nice look at it. This thing certainly had some big spin on it. Tell you what, man, it's pretty close. But you see how far that ball bounced left after that first bounce? With double barrels. Double guns right there.
That ball had some big time English on it. But, you know, as I've seen it now from several different angles, there's a part of me that says I think that was fair.
Well, Jerkson didn't put up a big argument.
No, and neither did Tony Beasley, standing right there by it. So. And none of our angles perfectly down the line. That creates a problem for us as well. Chirinos homered last time up. The 1-0 pitch to him, and he hits this ball out to center field. Pilar comes on and makes the catch. So 1 away.
And the other part too for Nunez, and what we've seen with Robinson, Chirinos, and Juan Centeno got the start yesterday. The Rangers have been very good in his starts, but also the way that this pitching kind of unfolds in this series. You got Jaime Garcia, the lefty, this afternoon. Tomorrow afternoon it's scheduled for Jay Happ, another left-hander. So for Robinson and Nunez to get those consistent starts against left-handers is certainly something that Jeff Bannister, I think, would like to do. No guarantee, I guess, since it's not technically a full platoon, that Nunez will be in there tomorrow, but I believe that he will be.
Rua takes outside for a ball. So 3-0 Rangers. They got the 3 runs in the 2nd inning. Profar with a 2-run homer. Chirinos with a solo shot, and then Rua, you see right there, reached on the error, and that's the play that. Well, I'm not ready to argue that foul ball a moment ago.
Yep.
I think I would argue the scoring of that as an error in the 2nd.
Yeah, I'm with you. I actually wrote triple in my score book. I haven't changed it. Mostly because I wrote it in pen.
I was going to say, you really have the means to do that.
But also because I don't believe it. It's a tough one. I mean, and I understand you don't make any kind of decisions based on the player specifically, but I'm not cutting Ryan Rua a break. Take a look at the play now. I'll take you back to the 2nd inning, and here it was. It's a fly ball to right field. He hit it well. Carried deep. You see Hernandez a little bit of a late start and trying to time it. That ball was up against the wall, though. I can't buy 99% catch probability. This throw was pretty impressive. And I think what happens a lot of times with StatCast is it doesn't know how to take the wall into account. I think if that ball was hit another 5 feet for a home run and you ran the catch probability, it wouldn't be 0, even though it was a home run, because they just go by distance and how long the ball's in the air. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you. Yeah. So in other words, you just take the wall completely out of the equation.
Yep. even for guys that have to slow down as they run to the wall, right? There's one thing about distance and how long the ball's in the air. You know, guys got to work the wall. They got to slow down. They got to work the warning track. Now, he didn't play that ball very well. Obviously, they gave him an error. I don't think it should have been an error. I mean, it was up against the wall, what, 3/4 of the way?
Yeah, and he left his feet.
Yeah. It wasn't pretty.
No.
But I don't. 99% is a tough one for me to get on board with.
Right. So if you want to flog Hernandez for the way he went after the ball, whatever, fine. But I'm with you. I don't think you can take the triple away from Rua. I mean, that one got caught in the wind.
Yeah, I'm really curious about that. My next StatCast question: for a home run that barely clears the wall, can you calculate catch probability? And I think the answer is yes. Maybe I'm wrong.
Well, you're probably wrong,
but I think the answer is yes, and I think it's going to be high for a high fly ball. I think if you hit that 5 more feet, it drops it to like 84%, even though it's 0.
No, I think that issue here is the stat itself. The catch probability is probably it might need some tinkering. Let's put it that way. Profar has been aggressive over there at first, not going, and the 2-2 is a comebacker. Garcia will go to second, and no relay offered from Gurriel. He had all the time in the world, but just taken a little out of position apparently, and so held on to it.
Good play by Garcia, gets himself a nice one-hopper, and this really does look tailor-made. He keeps his feet moving, makes a pretty good throw. The throw brought him in the line a little bit. You're going to see Jurickson Profar kind of go down and get out of the way. It might have been even the grip or the exchange for Gurriel and why he couldn't make that throw. And this is a team that's done a very nice job with double plays. 29 on the year. That is second to the Rangers, who have 30 in Major League Baseball.
Rua is on. The inning continues, and now it's interesting to see, can the Rangers make them pay? Rua takes off. The throw from Maley not in time, and Rua with his second stolen base of the year.
Really smart play and a smart idea. Of course, you mentioned it earlier. Jaime Garcia struggling at times in his career holding runners. You have 2 outs. Delino DeShields is up. Worst case scenario, if Ryan Rua gets thrown out, you flip your order over and you're back at the top once again. But you take that chance to get a runner in scoring position. For Maley, he had thrown out 3 of 4 potential base stealers this year, and 3 of 5.
It's kind of like house money right now, because in some ways you just wouldn't expect Rua to even be on base. Garcia with a couple of looks at him, and now the 1-strike pitch. That one is outside, 1-1.
And going first pitch, I really like as well, right? Jaime Garcia maybe a little bit frustrated about the afternoon. That play right there not being a double play. We saw him get frustrated with Hernandez earlier on the fly ball, triple called error. And so you think about sometimes of a pitcher, not that he's taking a pitch off mentally, but maybe forgetting about that runner a little bit.
A chance for Delino to cash in with a runner in scoring position. Sort of that low-level storyline that is sort of percolating below the surface every night. 1-1. And that is just off the plate. 2-1. The Rangers as a team just above the Mendoza line, 202 average with runners in scoring position this year. That's 4th lowest in the American League. You almost hate to point out that in the last 15 games that problem has been magnified a little bit, hitting 185. Two balls and 2 strikes.
Take a look one more time at the steal here from Ryan Rua, and we'll put some fancy graphics on it. You see the jump there. Gets that sprint speed up to 28.6 feet per second and 3.7 from first to second.
Well, Garcia, very particular. Just to make sure, A, he has the right pitch for DeShields, and B, make sure he keeps Rua close. 2-2. Bounces up there. Maley blocks it. Rua takes off for third, and he'll have it easily. Oh, a wild pitch.
Is that 3 wild pitches today?
Well, it is, and it's also, let's see, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There've been like, boy, there've been a lot of free 90s given away here today.
That was a breaking ball in the dirt and well in front of home plate. And when you're Luke Maley, this is such a difficult pitch to try to block. You're not sure if it's going to kick left or right with that curveball spin on it. Plus all the way the front of the batter's boxes can get beat up a little bit. Did everything he could to try to keep that ball in front of him.
3-2. And this one down the first base line, just foul again.
Delino wants him to look at it, I think, or did he break his bat?
Looks like he
wants a different.
He's asking them to.
You can't.
You can't, right? It's unreviewable. Boy, that looked really close again.
Well, he did break his bat. He's a little bit frustrated now. Jeff Bannister's calling down, but anything in front of the umpire is not reviewable. I guess unless they're wondering if it caught the bag. I don't think it did. Well, it took a funny hop, right?
There might have been so much spin on it again that you had that weird reaction, because I saw something funky down there too that made me think it might have hit the base.
No, right in front of the base.
Well, it almost looks like it's
chalk.
Like it skipped up off the front of the bag. I don't know.
A couple of really close balls down each line this inning.
This one fouled back into the seats. Stays 3-2 on Delino. Well, been a walk in the inning. Fielder's choice. Stolen base, a wild pitch. And it's going to be up to Delino to try and cash in some of those favors here. Garcia approaching 90 pitches, and that one is ball 4. So DeShields heads down to first, and he gets 2 to the plate.
4th walk of the afternoon for Jaime Garcia, who came in with a 3.3 walk per 9 rate. It's right around league average. But it's been an issue here for him this afternoon as you see John Gibbons looking out as pitching coach Pete Walker talks to Garcia. Nobody up right now in that Blue Jays bullpen. 3 visits already. Did I see that right?
I think that's right. They're doing their best to simply get Garcia through 4 innings. Yeah, 3 visits remaining, 3 burnt.
We saw the Angels. Was that yesterday? First team to ever burn all their visits.
Yeah, finally somebody used them.
Not shockingly.
It's so weird that Mike Sosa would be the guy.
They should just call it the Mike Sosa rule. Get it over with.
All right, the opportunity continues in this 4th inning.
So there now up in the Blue Jays bullpen.
Chua struck out and grounded out. Boy, Garcia. Garcia, by the way, has an unusual distinction in his career that he gained last season. He made 3 consecutive starts last year in the big leagues for 3 different teams. Runner goes from first, that one in the dirt. Maley with a good block, so DeShields with a steal of second, his 3rd of the year.
Tell you what, Luke Maley is working his tail off back there right now with Jaime Garcia, and how many balls he has thrown in the dirt. Not just short hops, as you see Delino easily stealing that bag. How many balls have we seen that have bounced in front of the plate? I mean, look how far that is, not only in front of the plate, but in front of the batter's box.
Maley, you just saw Maley give the signal to do the signs a second time. They do. 2 fouls that one away. So last year Garcia started the year with Atlanta. He had signed with them as a free agent in the offseason. Atlanta traded him about a week before the deadline last year to the Minnesota Twins, and that's when the Twins thought that they were in it and going to make a run, and then they had that horrible road trip. And Thad Levine decided, well, we're out of it. We're going to trade him. They traded him to New York, and his next start was with the Yankees. High fly out there to center field, and Pilar and Granderson can't decide whose it was. 2 runs come in, and the Rangers cash in on the mistakes thanks in large part to another mistake. And the Blue Jays really have no one to blame but themselves this afternoon.
So this is a really unusual play. You have a former center fielder in Curtis Granderson, your current center fielder in Pilar, who is a great defender, but probably should have let Curtis Granderson take this ball. And the reason why he should have is because it's coming off the bat of Shin-Soo Choo, the left-hander, so that ball's going to be spinning closer and towards Curtis Granderson, and it's an easier play for him. And then you saw the confusion there and kind of the alligator arm and the last ditch effort to kind of reach for it. You can see that coming almost immediately as that ball landed right in between those two defenders.
All right, could you see this coming? Scored a double.
What?
And 2 RBIs.
Are you joking?
That's how they scored it.
What was the catch probability on that? 1,000?
I mean, I can't figure it all. It makes no sense.
That is unbelievable.
Yeah, Choo will take it his 7th double of the year.
Yeah, of course. You don't want to. I don't want to see Choo lose a hit, but let's be honest. That is a routine fly ball, and the triple was not.
And this ball launched high in the air out to left field. Granderson waiting, and that will do it. But the Rangers cash in 2 very big runs, and now lead 5-0. Bartolo Colon, 15 starts here, 3 complete games, and 1 very memorable game for him. And you got to go back to May of 1998. It would be a career high 14 strikeouts for Big Bart.
A completely different pitcher, not just the way that he looks. Of course, we all age, but the idea of who he's become. Predominantly fastballs. He used to throw a lot harder back in the day, more of a power pitcher. Now he's all finesse, all about location, all about movement. That was 20 years ago, right?
Yeah. Kenny Lofton was his center fielder. Jim Tomei at first, Manny Ramirez in right field, Brian Giles in left. This ball down the left side, foul and out of play. Travis Fryman at third base.
Those were good years too for the Indians. They had a really tough lineup. The late 90s into the early 2000s. Jarrett Wright, Charles Nagy in that rotation, now pitching coach for the Angels.
This ball hit out toward right field and drops in for a base hit, and so the Blue Jays have their first runner of the afternoon. Granderson will pull up at second base. Leadoff double in the 4th.
Well, you know you're going to get a lot of strikes, and here's that front door 2-seamer, and I tell you what, the ball's pretty well located. It's up a little bit, but as far as how far in it is, he'll take that every single time. But up in the zone, gave Curtis Granderson a chance to get to that ball, and he did a nice job of clearing hands in the hip, driving that ball to right field. Had a good view of Bartolo Colon right there. We're in New York together at the same time, were they not?
Ooh, that's a good question. I mean, I suppose there's probably a pretty good probability
somewhere.
Let's face it, Granderson really, at the time, I don't think it was viewed as a real meaningful addition. I don't know that they even were real clear on how they would use him when they signed Granderson here.
Played together
that turns out to be a really big signing.
Yep. A true platoon, starting against righties more often than not. But yes, they played together for 3 years with the Mets, 2014 to 16. So Curtis Granderson certainly has seen that fastball from the other side a few times.
Pitch to Hernandez, and that one is off the plate. Oh for 1 today. Colon retired the first 9 he faced before that double. Checks out his old teammate at second. So Granderson, they didn't sign Granderson until late January here. And last year, a strange year for him. Very, very tough April last year in New York for Granderson, but then turned it around. In fact, was outstanding all the way up until the Dodgers claimed him off waivers in late August and ended up in LA for their stretch run. 2-2 pitch, ground ball third base. Nunez looks Granderson back and takes care of Hernandez, 1 away. You know, it's time for Built for Baseball, brought to you by T-Mobile. And the Yankees and the Angels yesterday. Rick Gregorius, decent start to the year, 10 home runs.
Now, if you like being successful and hitting home runs, but how about the curtain call
on the road
in Los Angeles? Now, I don't blame Yankee fans for doing it, and Didi Gregorius is a fantastic player and fantastic personality. I would say that unless you did something historic like your 3,000th hit or your 500th home run, I would say you don't take the curtain call on the road. Not blaming him, not giving him a hard time, just kind of a general rule of thumb for me.
So you didn't?
When I would get them on the road, well, it was more that they were happy that I was still in the game, pitching against their hitters.
Pop up into short left field, and Rua tucks it away. The thing is, there's probably not a whole lot of precedence for that kind of thing.
Certainly not.
Hey, you know, Ohtani hit a home run again last night, his 4th of the year. But the story really, he left the game in the 7th inning with a sprained right ankle. That's the ankle he had surgery on in the offseason. Sean Manaea continues a great run with Oakland, and Corey Kluber couldn't quite finish it, but 10 strikeouts last night.
He almost did. You see that pitch that he threw? He thought was strike 3. Should have been the CG.
Oh, I didn't see
it. Yeah. He almost got himself a complete game. And Sean Manaea right now is the poster child for goofy lefties. Because he is a goofy lefty, and he is crushing it right now. Letting everybody know it's okay to be goofy.
Yeah.
But Ohtani on that play, I don't know if you saw this, but Neil Walker was playing first with Tyler Austin out, and Neil Walker doesn't have a ton of experience at first base. His foot was kind of on the bag as opposed to up against the bag, and it looked like Ohtani tried to avoid him a little bit. And there was not really a collision, but there was some contact there. And that's how he had that injury.
1-1 to Solarte. Yeah, it looked like Walker was kind of backing into the play a little bit. And momentum carrying him over the bag a little. So yeah, an awkward play and disappointing, no doubt, for Ohtani. Solarte grounded out his first time up. Generally speaking, seems somewhat comfortable against Bartolo Colon, 5 for 10 against him. Now this is the most that Cologne has had to work in one inning this afternoon. Gave up the double to Granderson. Lifted out to center field, but not going to carry. DeShields waits on it, and the inning is done. 4 complete in the book so far this afternoon. Bartolo and the Rangers leading it 5-0. Sponsored by GMC. Visit your local GMC dealer today. And by Sling TV. Live TV you love, only better. 5-0. And we go to the 5th. The Rangers have had a lot of traffic today. Base runners aplenty. And offensively have really put pressure on that man right there, Jaime Garcia.
Surprised to see him back out there, to be honest with you, here in the 5th inning at 94 pitches, and command has been an issue. Only 54% strikes this afternoon for Garcia. That number just went down with that first pitch there to Nomar Mazara. And it's crazy to think, if we watch this game, especially in the beginning, we go back to that at bat with Isaiah Kiner-Falefa in the 3rd inning, where it felt like maybe Jaime Garcia was given a couple of pitches that were off the plate. I think he's probably had more given than taken away. The good work that Luke Mailey's done behind home plate.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good point. He has been dancing around the zone a lot today, but when he has put it over the plate, it's been hit with some authority. Rangers with a couple of home runs. The double by Chu. The should have been triple by Rua. Two 1 pitch. And this one bounced down the first base side. Backhanded stop by Smoke. Garcia covering for out number 1. Well, you put it on the calendar. The next Texas Chili Company Dollar Hot Dog Day will be Wednesday, May 9th. Rangers and Tigers. So come on out to Globe Life Park. It's a 105 game. You get your ballpark hot dogs for just $1 each. Go to TexasRangers.com for tickets or call 972-RANGERS. Look at the shift here, and it's always interesting where they put the various infielders.
Having Yahtzee dice, just putting them and rolling them out. Where are they going to be? Something different every single time, it seems like, outside of your first baseman.
Yeah, and I hear different explanations as to why. To me, I think that I like the logic of the 3rd baseman moving to the other side of the field. If you look at that right there, the only guy really out of position per se is the 3rd baseman. Gurriel's just playing what you would consider a very deep second base.
Yep.
OPS, still it's short. Instead of moving everybody to an awkward spot, just displace one of them, and maybe you eliminate a little confusion along the way.
I think it helps. And again, we've talked about this. It all depends on how they feel the highest percentage of ground ball where it may go. If they felt like it was going to be at Solarte, then I think you would see Gurriel where Solarte is right now. Even though they feel like there's going to be a ground ball to that side, it's a matter of which spot do you think is most likely.
Oh, Smoke. Oh, barely able to get a handle on it the second time and gets Joey Gallo.
That would have been quite the collision between those two big guys down there. Looked like possibly here for Smoke that he picked his head up. Take a look here at this ground ball to the right side. A lot of times I feel like he got it easily. Oh, he just missed it, but he was able to get it cleanly.
Well, he's lucky that he kicked it back to himself.
Yeah.
Because he booted it and then he booted it. and that helped him get a handle.
Could have been a pretty gnarly three-man collision right there.
So the base is empty with 2 outs and a big curve in there for a strike to Renato Nunez.
Yeah, the other thing for Garcia, he has been much better here at home. Rogers Center, 3.27 ERA coming into this one, 5.9 on the road. But all these runs this afternoon, despite what we have seen, have been earned.
Ground ball third base, playable, and Solarte takes care of Nunez. Well, Garcia's season high pitch count into triple digits, but he trails 5-0.
The Rangers lead the Blue Jays by a score of 5-0 here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Bartolo Colon has done an excellent job. But look what he did last inning. We talk about his fastball usage so much for him, 86% of the time. But in that 4th inning, second time through the order, he actually threw more off-speed pitches than fastballs. So a little bit of an adjustment there in the 4th. We'll see what happens here in the 5th.
Well, first pitch swinging, and Pilar got a hold of that one and deposits it into the seats in center. Toronto scores their first run of the day for Pilar, his second home run of the year, and it's a 5-1 game.
No harm, no foul. Bartolo Colon with the lead is going to come out and throw strikes, and he goes down the middle. That actually looked like it might have been a slider. Let's get another look at it right here. Yeah, it certainly was. That one actually just spun and stayed in the middle of the plate. He's probably thinking he could get himself a first pitch strike. That get me over slider, but Pilar didn't let it go by.
Oh, very next pitch, a line drive out to Kiner Falefa, and there is one away. Now Pilar continues to swing the bat really well here at home for Toronto. He's having a good season at the plate so far in general, but doing very well here at home. His OPS may have just jumped over 1,000 with that home run. I don't know, because I can't do that level of math that quickly. Kendrys Morales now, and he is 0 for 1. Morales grounded out to short in the 3rd inning, and he did not exactly hustle it out. Now, he's a designated hitter. His job is to drive in runs. I get all that. But it was a play where, you know, once it was all said and done, you looked at it and you thought, well, you know, a little more effort, and he might well have made it close at first. One and two. He went around on that one.
Let's take a look at this from the side. Did he offer at it? He certainly did.
Stays 1 and 2. We talk about hitting home runs, and Morales 5th all-time in Major League history among Cuban-born players with 191 career long balls. Rafael Palmeiro, the most ever. 569 for Rafi. Ground ball, second base. Kind of Falefa's been so good wherever they have used him on the infield. Takes care of that one. 2 away. All right, time for a Chevy game break. Let's check in again with John Radigan. All right, thanks, John. The Cubs coming into play today. They were 4th in their own division. Of course, only a game out. Maley 0 for 1, takes the ball. Colon working efficiently and puts that one on the corner. With each passing day, Colon looks like a wiser and wiser acquisition this offseason by the Rangers. And in fact, I saw something the other day. I think it was the MLB Network where they're talking about 5 top pitching acquisitions this offseason, and he was right there in the top 5. You know, an opinion,
sure,
but
well, and even the idea of keeping him in the rotation, right? I mean, you remember after his first start, everyone wondering, he went to the bullpen for a little while and trying to figure out what they were going to do. It kind of seemed like a no-brainer that would keep him in the rotation. He's done an excellent job here for the Rangers. You kind of know what you're going to get. And there's going to be those off days where the command isn't going to be there and he's going to give up some runs because of the velocity. And he's on. He's really good.
Maley sends that one into left field. 3rd Blue Jays hit of the day. And he is on with 2 out.
And you know, when you see him get off to the kind of start that he did today, right, where he went through the first 3 innings, 9 up, 9 down, as you see this 2-seam fastball come back over the middle of the plate. Maley lines it into left for a base hit, but we start to think, because he is a guy that can pitch deep in the game, oh, can he give you 7 or 8 today? You know, that certainly would be great. But the reality is, we'd be pretty happy with 5 and maybe even 6 on average from a 44-year-old starter.
Ground ball, shortstop, diving stop. Profar back to second, not in time. What a great play by Jurickson Profar. The credit Luke Maley for hustling to second base and keeping the inning alive for Toronto.
A very impressive range here from Jurickson Profar. The Rangers will take a look at the replay and see if this is worth challenging or not. But the only play for Profar was going to be at second base with Diaz running. We've seen him get down the line well before. See the full extension, grab it with his bare hand, waste no time. That throw to second base, but it does look like Maley got there on time. Take a better look at it right here. Yep. Say he's safe.
It's on infield hit for Ledmus Diaz. 2 men out there, and here's Granderson, and Granderson one of the guys you'd like to avoid in these spots today. I mentioned the good start he has had. He doubled in the 4th inning. He's had some success against Bartolo Colon in his career. And he takes a first pitch strike.
Good movement on that fastball and a good call. That's a pitch Bartolo Colon needs against lefties.
Give up the homer to Pilar. Got 2 quick outs, and now with a couple of hits, trying to get out of a jam. First one he's been in today, and he's ahead 0-2.
These are the numbers there. Yeah. You mentioned it. He has been very good against Bartolo. But right now, Colon way ahead in the count here, 0-2 after the fastball changeup combination. Robinson Trino's trying to figure out what they want to do.
The 0-2.
Now, after what we saw from that double, it was a pretty good fastball that was inside to Curtis Granderson. Bartolo has stayed away with these 3 pitches, fastballs, changeups. I imagine he'll probably do the same. If he goes in, he knows he has to be very precise. So they're going to try to do that right here. He's got to get it inside. Nope.
Ooh.
Well, tomfoolery there by Robinson Trinos, right? Setting up in and then moving away, trying to get Curtis Granderson to maybe think that they were going in. Now 2-2. Probably stay away. Watch Robinson. There he is. He got me on this one. Slide away at the last second.
This one over the plate, but popped up. Out into left field. Rua is there, and the inning is done. So the Blue Jays will get just 1 run in the 5th inning. After 5 complete, the Rangers lead by 4. Feeling pretty good about things so far. We go to the 6th inning. Hey, a Coca-Cola family pack offers savings of over 50% on tickets, food, kids zone access, souvenir programs, and you got it, Coke soft drinks. Family pack is a great way to catch the Rangers when they face the Detroit Tigers May 7th through the 9th. Just go to TexasRangers.com/specials. Come on out. All right. So new pitcher in the ball game, and that is Sunwon Oh in the game now for Toronto.
He's doing the ball well. 1.74 ERA. Those 10 1/3 innings, 10 strikeouts, just a 1 home run allowed. Kind of interesting to see him in this role, down 5-1. The 6th inning. Guy that has been used as a closer before in the past. Fastball averages 91 miles per hour. He's got the slider, curveball, and split finger.
He'll go after Profar, and he runs strike one right in there. Profar has homered and walked. So good afternoon so far for him. Started as an afternoon, but really headed toward a good evening. 1-1. Garcia, meanwhile, finished his day by retiring the last 4 batters he faced. So it was interesting and what kind of a weird effort today for Jaime Garcia. Struck out the side in order in the first, and then got 3 ground balls in the 5th. Profile flies out to left field, 1 away. We'll bring up Robinson Chirinos, but not before we enjoy a word from our friends at Southwest Kia.
$250 down, $250 a month or less on select new Kias in stock only at southwestkia.com.
All right, so here is Chirinos. A home run and the fly out. Chirinos basically has had 3 days of rest. That left wrist was barking a little bit, a little sore, so he did not start that final game of the homestand. We had the off day on Thursday, then he did not start the game last night. So 3 full days off for him. A good little break. Felt better, obviously. Good enough to hit a home run the opposite way.
He gets a start against the lefty. He'll get another one most likely tomorrow. And a guy who offensively off to a little bit of a slow start from a batting average standpoint, but he's been slugging pretty well.
In fact, slugs this one high in the air and deep down the left field line. That one is gone. Second home run of the evening for Robinson Chirinos. And he gets that run right back in the top of the 6th inning. It's a 6-1 Rangers lead.
We'll mention Robinson Chirinos, the year he had last year with the power that he showed, and a little bit of a slow start, but he's starting to show it now. And this is a pitch that they wanted away. Came back up and in, leaked over the plate a little bit. You see Chirinos get the barrel to it. And you knew it right away. Had a funky sound. It sounded like he almost broke his bat. I'm sure he didn't. Just the acoustics a little bit strange when you're inside. Good swing from Robinson Chirinos. Continues to get it done from that standpoint.
Rua, and he takes high. It's 2-0. So Sunuano greeted with the home run. Rangers up by 5. Won the opening game yesterday by a score of 6-4. And this ball hit well down the left field line. If it stays fair, that's trouble. Oh, fan reaches out.
That bat definitely broke. They called it foul.
Oh, that's interesting. How much room is down there in that corner?
Well, that's what Bandy wants to know. Yeah, Bandy's coming down to talk about it a little bit. Third base umpire called that ball foul. Bandy's wanting the replay review guys to take a peek at it. They just want to double check and make sure was there any chance that that ball was fair or would have been fair. Here comes that baseball. And you're right, there's not a ton of room as you get near the end. Boy, that's a tough read, I tell you that. Better look here.
Oof, I tell you.
That is super close.
That's dubious.
It's at least a, I don't know, 1.5 centimeters. Millimeter.
I mean,
we saw you. We saw you reaching over.
Bouncer foul, and it's 2-2 on Rua. That looked really close.
It was
to me.
close. Make us remind you what happened in Tampa. Blue Jays fans.
Right.
Don't reach over.
Put you in the witness protection program.
Yeah. Right back in the stadium in no time, just with a different outfit on. Well, that, you know, and it would be easier to hide here. It'd be easier to pull it off. Great crowd here at Rogers Center. When it happened in Tampa, the fan that reached over interfered. Who hit that ball? Do you remember? Turned into a double.
Kind of want to say 2, but there's a strikeout looking Rua, second out of the inning.
But The fan reached over the yellow line, and so it was called a double. And then because he reached over, he was ejected from the game. Sort of.
So 2 away. And DeShields takes one on the inside corner for a strike.
It's really starting to feel like Ryan Rua can't catch a break. I mean, the triple called an error. That ball right there, really close. Just feels like he should be a little bit more rewarded for what he's doing.
Well, Delano had a good walk in the 4th inning. Swings and misses here. Oh, carves him up. And the inning is done, but the Rangers got the run back on the Chirinos homer.
Yeah, Robinson Chirinos does it again. 2nd home run of the day for Chirinos. We saw the power stroke last year. We're seeing it again this year. Home run number 5 for the Rangers catcher.
Two homers today, catching, and he has the Rangers in front 6-1. Great afternoon, early evening for Robinson Chirinos. Meanwhile, the Blue Jays going to work again in the 6th inning against Bartolo Colon. And Hernandez fouls that away. It's 1-1. Hernandez, Justin Smoke, and Yangervis Solarte. You see Hernandez, he's rolled out to short. It's also grounded out to 3rd. Fly ball out to right field. Mazzara back. He looks up, and that one is off the fence. And DeShields will hustle it back in. Hernandez stops at 3rd. Interesting, they blew the horn, the home run horn here, that had fans a little confused.
I thought somebody scored a goal in hockey.
Yeah.
That's what it sounded like.
Right off the crossbar, but it's interesting because none of the players fell for it on the Rangers side or on Toronto's side.
Take a look at the pitch here from Bartolo Colon. 2-seam fastball came back over the plate. 3 fastballs in this at bat from Bartolo Colon to Hernandez, and you'll see this one clearly bounce off the wall, take kind of a little bit of a funny hop. That's why it turned into a triple. In the previous at bat, we saw Bartolo Colon throw Hernandez quite a few off-speed pitches, and he had handled them pretty well up to this point with a couple of groundouts. But the 5-run lead decided to be aggressive with the fastball, and Hernandez has been a good hitter this year. Hit that one pretty hard.
So now Smoke lofts this one down the left field line. Rua gets there, And Hernandez has to hold third. One away. We've seen a little bit of that today. The first pitch hacks by these Toronto Blue Jays, and they have really helped Bartolo Colon. He's just 70 pitches into the afternoon, and he's got one out here in the sixth.
Yep. Take a look at the pitches so far and the efficiency of Bartolo Colon. 19 pitches in the fifth. That was the worst of the group. The rest of those incredibly efficient. 15 pitches and under in innings 1 through 4. Mention those first pitches when they have gone hacking. Am I reading this right? Only 10 of 21 for strikes. Less than 50%.
Wow.
First pitch strikes for Bartolo Colon, who, overall has thrown 67% strikes today. Not an easy thing to do when you're falling behind as much as he has, at least after the first pitch.
1-1 on Solarte. He was grounded out and flied out today.
Overrated first pitch strikes, apparently.
No, don't say that.
Kids, don't worry about it. 1-0 is a great count to be in.
You're going to misinform all these people. You got to throw first pitch strikes. 1-1. And that's the other big pitch usually, right? The 1-1 pitch.
Yep, and
that
Dan Worthen,
account.
who's the assistant pitching coach here, was something that he ingrained in me, or at least tried to. Didn't necessarily work out, but the idea of the 1-1 count, really getting focused on that. Yes, you'd love to be 0-1. You're not always going to be, but 1-1 and the idea of going 2-1 compared to 1-2, that's where things really turn dramatically as far as the results.
A little tight. 3-1. Solarte, 30 years old, bounced around in the minor leagues for 8 years. Hit minor league free agency twice in that stretch, and a guy who plays every position and finally made his way to the big leagues. It's good for the Padres. Came over in a trade with San Diego in January. Bouncer second base, and Kiner Falefa will have just one play. Takes care of Solarte, but the run scores. It's a 6-2 game. Hey, don't miss the next T-Mobile Friday fireworks on May 4th. Coming out to the ballpark, Rangers and Red Sox. Second game in that 4-game series. And then afterward, another spectacular fireworks show. Go to TexasRangers.com for tickets or call 972-RANGERS. Love to have you out. Colon now to Pilar, who homered last time up. Pilar 1 for 2. And Bartolo jumps ahead 0-2, so it certainly looked as if Colon would be prepared to come out for a 7th inning. Pitch count still below 80. There is some activity out there. So Claudio getting loose. Who's managing this game, me or Bannon? What's going on?
I mean, it seems to me that it should be based on your history, track record.
Never lost a game.
It's exactly right.
What a job, man. I tell you. These major league managers.
Under a ton of pressure.
Yeah.
The game goes a lot faster when you're sitting in that seat. Remember when Dan Jennings, general manager of the Marlins, took over as manager for a little while a couple years ago? This guy's been around baseball for a real long time and admittedly said, wow, things go really fast in here compared to where I was sitting in my general manager suite.
1-2 pitch, and it's fouled off again.
Which in one sense makes me think that all front office people should have to manage a game or two, just so they could kind of understand a little bit. I mean, obviously the relationship between the manager and the front office is always a strong one. It has to be. But as we critique managers, the idea of maybe sitting in that chair and getting a feel for it, maybe help you understand that a little bit more.
Oh, comebacker Bartolo right there. Oh, he's rattled. Hey, you scared me, man.
Really flustered after that.
Yeah. I want to have some gum.
Let's take a look at the line drive. Good swing. Pilar hit it hard. Bartolo's like, I got it. Right at him. Big smile from Big Sexy. Was telling the tale of this play right here. Line drive right back at his glove. Kind of helped a little bit that it was glove side, but the reflexes of the big man really amazing. Bartolo Colon got a kick out of that one. Teammates surrounding him, high fives all around. Tell us how you do it, 44-year-old.
Oh man,
we're getting pretty close to his birthday, right? Early May.
About a month away, yeah.
I didn't even, is it May 23rd? What day was it? How would I know that? I shouldn't know that.
Here's Chu. So the 2, 3, and 4 hitters in this 7th inning for the Rangers, leading 6-2. And he's hacking at the first pitch. Chu had what shall perhaps be known as a Canadian double. Henceforth.
The French change right there.
Yeah.
It's actually May 24th. I missed it by a day.
Okay. 1-1 to Chu. See Ryan Tepera, who's come on here in the 7th inning.
Another good right-hander coming out of this pen for John Gibbons. 14 strikeouts to just 3 walks for Tepera. Good fastball, averages 95 miles an hour. You see one there right at 95. He's got a curveball, changeup, not going to do it, and he's got a slurve. I'll take it the other way. I guess you can't do that. Slider? How do you put the cutter before the slider?
No, yeah, I don't think so.
It's Slutter it is. That one sits at 90 miles an hour for Tepera, according to Inside Edge. That's what it says. I like Sider.
Sider's good. I could
Cutter slider.
that. A little more comfortable with 2-2. Ground ball up the middle, and Chu is on for a second time today. Oh, a double and a single. Good start to the 7th inning, and look, this bullpen for Toronto has been really good.
They certainly have been. There's a fastball middle away, and Chu such good back control. A guy who's very good on high velocities. That's the other part I think that gets overlooked with Shin-Soo Choo. We talk about his ability to work the strike zone, understands the strike zone, knows it really well, knows what he can handle, but also can get to good fastballs.
Rangers got a run on last inning with the lead man on here in the 7th inning. You look at this bullpen, 6 wins at 2.09 ERA. I mean, this is ostensibly the best bullpen, at least for this first month of the season in the American League. Ground ball, shortstop. Quick feed to second for one, and the relay turned nicely. They double up Kiner Falefa.
Mentioned it earlier, they were second to the Rangers in double plays that they have turned this year. That'll be number 30 on the season for Toronto Blue Jays, and this one pretty much tailor-made. And an easy 6-4-3.
Couldn't get any easier there for Diaz, not to take anything away from it, or Gurriel, but there you go. Top two teams handling that little trick. Bases are now empty for Nomar Mazara.
You know what stuck out when we showed those numbers? The fact that they were 6th in the American League with a .241 batting average against, which is a pretty good number, respectable number. It's 15th overall in baseball, so that's actually average when you think about Major League Baseball. Batting average against your bullpen, right? There are two teams that have sub 200 batting averages against coming out of the bullpen. And my first thought, well, it's got to be the Yankees, right? With those big arms. Nope. The Arizona Diamondbacks have a 193 batting average against their bullpen. They're playing some great baseball right now. But the Padres, number 2 at 199. Nobody getting to that bullpen either. It's pretty interesting. Batting average is way down in Major League Baseball. To your point, you were talking about it earlier. The strikeouts. The ball's not being put in play very often.
1-1. Strike on Mazara. It's getting tough, man. I mean, I don't envy these guys at the plate.
No.
At the same time, I'll be honest with you, I don't envy the guys on the mound. I mean, I think that's a tough gig too, because you got guys taking some pretty wild hacks up there.
You pay for mistakes now more than ever.
Yeah.
There's not a guy that's choking up with 2 strikes, and if you leave a pitch up, it just means a base hit to left field. Now it means you're getting a baseball from the umpire. This guy took a monster hack. 0-2.
2-2 the count on Mazara. Had a base hit in the 3rd inning. He's struck out and grounded out. Parra, the right-hander, heavily worked last year by Gibbons, gets a ground ball to second base, and Gurriel, pretty sure-handed, takes care of Mazara. The inning is done. Then we'll stand and stretch here in Toronto with the Rangers and Bartolo Colon up by 4. There he is, the guy we came to see today, and most people come to see when he's out there pitching. Bartolo Colon, only 81 pitches through the first 6 innings, and a Pretty tidy line so far. His first offering to Gurriel off the plate for a ball. Gurriel has struck out and lined out 0 for 2. Toronto 2 runs on 5 hits. Colon, meanwhile, is looking for his first win as a Ranger. He has been unable to this point to get that elusive victory. Pop up down the right side, foul and unplayable. And of course, for Bartolo, yeah, you know, he'd like to get a win as a Ranger. Add that to the resume. It's the 11th team for which he has made a start now in his career. But he's just 3 wins short of tying the great Juan Marichal, the Dominican dandy, for most wins in the history of Dominican-born pitchers in the big leagues. And that, you know, is an important goal for him.
Sure.
He wants to get there. As much as we talk about wins not mattering, they matter certainly in cases like that, as Gurriel stays alive. And then should he catch Marichal, then he could go for the Latin-born record. Dennis Martinez, 245 victories, the most ever. Well, Gurriel blasts that one out to left field, and that's the first career home run for Lourdes Gurriel, and it got small in a hurry. Wow. 6-3.
Good at bat for Gurriel as he worked the count against Bartolo Colon and got himself a changeup that he could handle. See that changeup up over the plate, up and away. Goes full extension. And he knew he got all of it. As you mentioned, that one got out of here in a hurry, and it was deep. 417 feet when it was all said and done for Gurriel.
Tony Barnett working out in the bullpen. So a mound visit is Doug Brocail and Robinson Chirinos. Got a short word out there with Bartolo. (6-3) in the bottom of the 7th inning.
You mentioned that record that Bartolo Colon would be chasing. Juan Marichal, as of today, 75 less starts than Bartolo Colon. This is start number 532 in his career. Marichal 457. That's significant.
Well, very different eras, of course, and you know, Juan Marichal will always be beloved in the Dominican and regarded with extraordinary esteem. The Hall of Famer is Bartolo makes the play.
He almost seemed bothered that he had to go pick that ball up. Take a look at this hard ground ball.
Not hurried right now.
Well, after the one he caught clean, it's like, all right, I'll get it. It's almost have to look over to Nunez, like, hey, where were you on that one? Pick me up. I got to go get this. All right, I'll get it. But it's amazing, really, the consistency of how Bartolo Colon handles situations. Right, big home run. It's getting late in the game, 7th inning now, 6-3. I mean, just flatlining with emotion.
One hooked foul by Maley.
Yeah, safe to say a much different time. 244 complete games.
Well, how many times in his career did Marichal go 300 innings or more in a season? He did it for like 5 years in a row or something.
3 at 300 plus. He had another one at 299 and 2/3.
There you go. Yep.
And he had another one at 295. So 5 seasons of 295 or more, all in the 60s.
Swing and a miss, and Maley strikes out. 2 gone.
just the second strikeout of the afternoon for Bartolo Colon. Fastball elevated, not intentionally, but elevates it and able to get it by Naley.
Aledmus Diaz, and he fouls this one back out of play. Diaz with an infield hit, 1 for 2.
So Bartolo came in with a 1.1 walk per 9 rate into this game. He has not walked anybody in his 6 2/3 so far. It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, that's a good point, because that's when you look at the various ways in which he has excelled this year for the Rangers. I mean, 3 walks in 24 1/3 innings coming in. 3 walks against 19 strikeouts. And we were talking earlier how he's today maybe a lower strike rate than we have seen. He's close to 70% strike rate for the season.
66% today, which is still above league average. It is amazing.
This one popped up, but heading into the seats, and it is 2-2.
And again, predominantly fastballs. And his fastball today, the range in that thing has been as low as 83 miles an hour, as high as 92. According to the data that Inside Edge has captured today in this game. That's quite a range on a fastball. 83 to 92.
Yeah.
You don't see that too often. Now overall, you see him there, 78 to 92. Of course, it's the slider that has gone as low as 78. The changeup has been 81 to 83.
2-2. And Diaz puts this one out to center field. Playable for Delino, and the inning is done. And Bartolo Colon gets through 7 this afternoon, and he leaves with a 6-3 lead. Wow, that is rough, and it has been a terrible start for the Royals. 5-20 for the year. John Axford is the 4th pitcher of the afternoon/evening here today for Toronto.
And we saw John Axford in last night's game, back at it again. Game number 12 for him. He's done a good job out of this bullpen. 10 strikeouts in his 12 innings worth of work. Axford's got a good fastball, averages 96 miles an hour. The slider at 92 and the curveball at 81. He has yet to allow a home run this season. Good time to change that 0 to a 1 with Joey Gallo stepping in.
A breaking ball swung on and missed for a strike. Gallo, a couple of walks and a run scored. Rangers lead by 3, top of the 8th inning, and trying to take the first 2 games of this series. Won by 2 yesterday. And they have led all the way in this one today. Manfred finds the inside corner. Gallo maybe not in agreement with that one.
He didn't like a fastball that he saw earlier in the game from Jaime Garcia that was below the zone. That one was close. This one, though, he's got a good argument. That one appeared to be down and in.
Stays 0-2. Well, Axford yesterday, not only did we see him, he threw 2 innings. And I remember thinking at the time, like, oh, well, maybe we'd see him in the final game on Sunday, but probably not tomorrow. He got a real nice round of applause when he came in. A Canadian, he's from Ontario. The province of Ontario, not the city. 1-2.
I was going to correct you on that. 23 pitches for Axford yesterday, but he did have the previous few days off. You mentioned he came off the bereavement list. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah. Bereavement list yesterday. One, two. Ooh, Gallo watches the beauty. He knew it. Axford gets a strikeout to start the 8th. So I mentioned tomorrow the final game in this series. We take a look at our progressive upcoming schedule. And then it's off to Cleveland. 3 with the Indians. Monday, Tuesday, and then Wednesday afternoon. Back home, a 4-game set with the red-hot Red Sox. And then the Tigers on a 7-game homestand. Hopefully the Rangers can get things going at home. They've done awfully well on the road, but they need to start playing better at home as well. First pitch from Axford taken for a strike by Nunez. We're out of 0 for 3 today. One and one. Well, Nunez, the waiver claim by the Rangers, taken from Oakland, was injured at the end of spring training and was exposed to waivers. Rangers jumped on it. A guy with some real power potential. Well, got in on him. 1-2.
I'd say so.
Almost knocked the bat out of his hands.
A little bit of a defensive swing. We've seen some good movement on the John Axford fastball. There's another one that's got some good run below the pine tar. Looks like that's where that hit. Let's see here again.
Well, Axford and Maley finally come to terms on what they want to do here. The 1-2, and it's outside. Axford had a nice run in Milwaukee, where for a handful of years there, he was their closer. 46 saves in 2011. That was after a 24 save season. Also saved 35 in 2012. So he's got some late inning experience. Some decent Brewers teams back in the day. The 2-2. And Nunez stays alive. He's from Simcoe, Ontario. Two. Let's see if BJ can tell me how far is Simcoe from Toronto? About 90 miles? Or 90 minutes. Okay.
Which could be.
Let's just say you and I aren't going to Simcoe tonight.
No.
Yeah, that's a good height. 3-2. And again got in. This pop-up will end up in the seats.
Well, no doubt that's the game plan here for Axford against Nunez. He tried to go in the previous pitch before that one, but he missed down over the plate in this 3-2 count. Seems to me that at least on a fastball, they do not want to allow Nunez to get those arms extended, trying to stay in with the good run on the fastball that we've seen from Axford. Could go to a breaking pitch as well, down and away. Maybe fastball away after Axford looked like he shook off the slider.
Upstairs, that's ball 4, and Nunez works the walk. That's a good at bat. As he was seeing some pretty decent stuff right there from Axford. Base runner on here in this 8th inning. Hey, MLB At Bat is your #1 Rangers app. You can customize your experience to catch every moment this season. You get Rangers home screen icons and features like the MLB.TV game of the day. There's pitch tracking, highlights, stats, news, and more. Turn on those notifications. So go ahead, download the MLB At Bat app today. Profar from the left side of the plate, and he takes one off the plate for a ball.
Let's see here, Jurickson Profar, is he asking for time? He is, but did not get it. It is not automatic. You see a little frustration there on the part of Jurickson Profar. You're allowed to ask for time. The home plate umpire does not necessarily have to grant it to you. Of course, that famous home run, Bo Jackson. Asking for time, didn't get it. So, all right, I'll just hit a home run instead.
Mike Winters, our plate umpire and crew chief. Last night, Mike Malinsky, who is down at third base today, was a plate umpire, and he had a quick trigger on time calls. If you even hinted you wanted time, he was going to give it to you. Didn't matter.
Thinking about it, he was on it.
Yeah, he seemed to know. This guy might want time here. I'm going to call it real quick. I mean, but to his credit, he was quick with it and very demonstrative. So I think guys knew immediately that no worries.
Think about all the things you have to do as a whole plate umpire, thinking about that, watching for balks, making sure the guy is in the box. I mean, there's so much going on. And oh yeah, by the way, you got to call balls and strikes and see pitch as well.
Profar strikes out swinging. Not a real comfortable at bat for him. 2 away.
Nope, but this guy had a couple of comfortable at bats this afternoon. Robinson Chirinos off of Jaime Garcia the other way. Squeaks one out to right field, and this one was not squeaked out. A big home run to left field for Robinson. It's been a good afternoon for him. 2 for 3. 2 solo home runs. He's done an excellent job behind the plate, as he always does. Bartolo Colon on the mound.
2 away. Chirinos goes after the first offering from Axford here for strike 1.
I mentioned how Robinson is slugged this year, and he has. You see that 8 hits, each of the last 8 hits, all for extra bases. 5 home runs, 2 of them today, 3 doubles as well.
Down the middle. Oh, and 2 the count. Boy, Axford at 34 years old and all that mileage on his arm. And he's still got pretty good stuff, man. He can bring it. Even had a little shoulder issues over the years. But the 0-2. Blocked nicely back there.
How many times has Luke Maley had to block a ball in the dirt this afternoon? I mean, that's a number I don't think anybody keeps track of, but it has been a lot of balls in the dirt that he has had to block. Some wild pitches. We saw 3 wild pitches from Jaime Garcia. He's worked hard back there as the backup catcher. Get a day to catch. You're pretty excited, but he's wearing it a little bit today.
1-2.
And those are the easy blocks, right? The short hoppers, he'll take them. It was those pitches that Jaime Garcia was throwing that were in front of home plate. That's where he really had to work. You see this one there, does a good job picking that clean. And having the frame of mind to ask of whether or not Robinson Chirinos swung at that pitch.
See those, that one right there, though, that's the kind of would make my heart skip a little bit more.
The close one, the borderline.
Because it's such a scud, you know, quick low shot, like that gets by me.
Yeah.
The ones that bounce up and you knock down with your chest protector, at least you know roughly where it is. 2-2. And a swing and a miss. Axford strikes out the side in the 8th inning. So to the last of the 8th we go this afternoon. Rangers lead the Blue Jays 6-3. Rangers baseball is sponsored by Ford. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer today. Ford is the best in Texas. Well, 3-run game. Rangers trying to take the opening 2 games of this series. And Jake Diekman, first man up out of the bullpen today.
2-pitch mix for Diekman. The fastball averaging 94 miles an hour. The slider, which he is using 39% of the time, or did last year, average right around 81 miles per hour.
He will get a pinch hitter here. Steve Pearce will lead things off in the 8th inning. Pearce, the right-handed hitter, taking over for Granderson. Well, Bartolo Colon, 7 solid innings today. And in line for the win should the Rangers find a way to hold it. 1-0. There it is, 1-1. Well, Pearce looked a little fooled on that one. 1-2 the count. You look at the splits though versus lefties, considerably better, almost 100 points better. It's this one foul.
He's been in that platoon situation with Curtis Granderson. Likely we'll see him in tomorrow afternoon's game with Martin Perez starting for the Rangers. He's put up some big numbers. We talked about it yesterday. As far as what he's done against lefties, it hasn't been that consistent for him over the course of his career where he's beat up lefties, but he certainly has done it this year.
Yeah, the only thing that's been consistent about it has been the years in which he has been good against lefties. Even numbered years, great. Odd number years, below average. Stays 2-2 on Pierce. He's a well-traveled guy, 8th round pick in 2005 by the Pirates. But he's played the big leagues for Pittsburgh, for the Orioles, the Astros, the Yankees, the Tampa Bay Rays, and now the Blue Jays. And he swings and misses. Strike 3. Diekman strikes him out to start the 8th inning.
A nasty slider from Jake Diekman. He's going to get Steve Pierce way out front and also entices him to go out of the zone on the 7th pitch of the at-bat. But it's the tightness of the slider combined with the great velocity on the fastball that gets Pierce chasing at that one. Good execution from Diekman.
So you can hardly say it enough, but so important to get that first guy. And now Teoscar Hernandez. The triple in the 6th inning. 1 for 3 this afternoon. Hernandez has not seen a whole lot of Jake Diekman in his young career. This one fouled over to the right side out of play. It's 1-1. He is 0 for 1 with a walk against Jake. That one fouled off.
Back-to-back good fastballs from Diekman, and you see Hernandez is late on those. You know, he's had a good year. He squared the ball up really well. He's been near the top in baseball as far as exit velocity this season, but late on the heater. Wonder if Diekman will go down or away. Looks like they're going to try to go up and in. When you get a guy that's trying to catch up with that heat the way that he has been and is late on those fastballs away, a breaking ball that starts down the middle, finishes back foot below the zone, usually can be a pretty good pitch.
Ooh, backdoor breaking ball, and he gets Hernandez looking. Back-to-back strikeouts for Diekman.
As good as the breaking ball was to Pierce, this one was even better. Look at that. You mentioned it. Backdoor as a ball the entire way until it just catches the outside corner. Good pitch from Diekman. I thought he might want to bury that breaking ball, but instead catches Hernandez looking at a really good one on the outside corner.
So now Smoke, who is 0 for 3 today, but has had a lot of success against lefties.
So we were talking about that earlier, right? What's been kind of going on in the game? Tendencies. We haven't seen a batter put a ball in play since Diaz did. Oh, there we go.
Now bloop out into center field, but DeShields with his great speed able to close on it, and that completes a 1-2-3 for Jake Diekman. A flawless 8th. We'll go to the 9th inning. Rangers up by 3. Ninth inning, and you can host your next group or company outing at a Rangers game. Groups of 20 or more enjoy significant savings off gate prices Add on picnic areas, meal deals, or other experiences and make a group outing even more memorable. Go to TexasRangers.com/groups. All right, interesting here. Roberto Osuna has come on for the Blue Jays in this ninth inning with his team down by 3. I'm assuming he hasn't thrown in a while.
He has not. He has not pitched in the last 3 days. He didn't pitch the 3 days prior to that. He last threw on the 24 through 31 pitches, so it was 3 off days surrounding that outing on both sides, and so that's certainly something you don't necessarily want with your closer, pitching once in a week over a 7-day span. So he'll get some work in here, try to keep the game where it is, and gotta believe we'll see Kella in the 9th for the Rangers.
And you saw Steve Pearce out in left field, so stays in the game for Granderson. And Osuna, we talk about how good this Blue Jays bullpen has been. Man, has he been terrific. Did you check it up? No. Rule went around, and that's a strikeout to start the 9th inning.
So we were just showing that little girl watching the game from the hotel. One of the cool features here at Rogers Center. I want you to look at that right there. I've done a lot of dumb things in my career. I remember sitting here one time with Matt Anderson. Remember Matt Anderson, the right-hander? Guy used to throw 100 miles an hour before 100 miles an hour was popular. He believed that he could throw a ball over the hotel from center field.
Okay.
And he tried.
Couldn't do it?
During batting practice one day. We sat there like a couple of dummies trying to throw balls over the hotel. Not recommended for big league pitchers.
That ball hit out over the right fielder's head and up against the fence, and DeShields will have a 1-out double in the 9th inning, his first hit of the day.
Delino earned that one after a couple of tough at-bats. He did have a walk and scored a run in the 4th inning, but a couple of strikeouts today on some tough pitches and some tough calls. He goes up against Ozuna, who is a very good pitcher, and gets himself a fastball when he drills into right center field. Good approach when you got a guy with good velocity. Ozuna fastball sits at 95 miles an hour. That one was 95.
First extra base hit of the year for Delino. Yeah, he's in scoring position now for Shin-Soo Choo. Has a couple of hits today, 2 for 4. And he takes low. Ball 1. And we get word, by the way, that the official scorer has changed a ruling from back in the 2nd inning for Ryan Rua. What was an E9 is now a triple.
That's why you write it in ink when you know what's up. That's the right call, and good for Ryan Rua. 99% catch probability, be darned. That was a triple.
Two and one count. Three balls and a strike. 1 out here. A man at second base. Rangers lead by 3. Now the Rangers won the final game of that series at home against Oakland. Had the off day on Thursday. Won the opener here yesterday. If they could figure out a way to hold on and finish this one off, it would be their first 3-game winning streak of the year. A swing and a miss makes it a full count on Choo.
So I saw something here as we were sitting here watching the game, and something came from the upper deck and landed near the Blue Jays on deck circle and kind of exploded into a ton of pieces, and we got into our producer Mike Dressman's ear and said, I think that was a green pepper. And sure enough, it was.
Base hit out into right field for Choo. Delino going for the plate, and he is in there. And I think that was a read on Delino's part. When Hernandez came up with a baseball, it looked like he was coasting into third, maybe trying to deke Hernandez into thinking he was going to be content with third.
I think you're right. It looked like he was absolutely setting a little bit of a trap here. First of all, we'll take a look. You see the base hit from Choo. I mentioned it earlier. Very good on high velocities, and that was 95 miles an hour, and he turned on it, but he saw the high bounce, and it was still a pretty good throw. And we've seen Hernandez show that arm off. I don't know what happened there for Maley, who had no interest. So watch this. Just kind of coasting, boom, go. It kind of changed his mind. Now, I didn't see if Beasley gave him the go sign or not, or if that was kind of part of the plan there for Delino. He does have explosive speed.
He never looked up to Beasley.
Yeah.
And he put his head down immediately on the hit. It looked like he had that whole thing in mind before it ever happened.
You have that kind of speed, you can play those kind of games, I guess, for Delino.
Well, a big insurance run makes it a 4-run lead. Now, Kiner Falefa, who's 0 for 4 today.
So, put you in the mind of a pitcher a little bit. Name of the game is winning baseball games. That's all that matters. But if you're Keone Kela, who was warming up out there in the Ranger bullpen, it is no longer a save situation. And the reality is, even though we treat bullpens differently, saves do pay. And they matter to pitchers.
Well, bloop over first and headed foul. Strike 2.
Now, I don't say Kela's openly rooting against his team to score in that situation. You're not. Take the situation that is presented to you. And I think that's a conversation that's going to continue to happen in our game a little bit as we talk about bullpens, and closers are still the highest paid, and you go in arbitration, you go into free agency, they do care about the total number of saves. I think that'll slowly maybe go away a little bit, or at least there'll be an adjustment there. We've seen it a little bit with setup men. But Kela coming in and finishing this game off, whether it's 6-3 or 7-3, doesn't matter. It's still equally as important. Just because the Rangers scored at least 1 run here in the top of the 9th doesn't change the importance of finishing this game off. And that's where we have a little discrepancy.
Yeah. Rangers may change their plans as this one sent out to right field. Another base hit, so Kiner Falefa, his first hit of this one. So the Rangers have gone double, single off Osuna, and that is no small feat.
How many times do we talk about closers in non-save situations as you see the slider, and it was a good one down and away, but a great approach from Kiner Falefa as he gets that ball to right field. You had to be a little bit careful. A soft line drive, making sure he didn't get doubled up. Now Pete Walker will come out and talk to his closer. So now it is Kevin Jepson who is up. Of course, Kela is the closer on this staff for Jeff Bannister. A little bit of a change, and that puts managers in a bad spot too. That's the other thing you run into, is that, you know, I know the Rangers just kind of stayed away from sort of designating a closer, but we know that it's Keone Kela. He's the guy that gets those save opportunities, and there are other options in that bullpen. But I will tell you, and we've said this before, I think most managers would love to see the save just go away. Let them use their bullpen the way that they want to use it, and not be concerned about keeping guys happy with saves, because the reality is they do matter still to players.
Conversation over on the mound, and now Mazzara, and he takes high. Nomar 1 for 4. So the Rangers added a run in the 6th inning. Chirinos with a home run at the time off of 0. And they've added another run here in the 9th inning. The throw to second for 1. The relay to first not in time. Mazzara beats it out. Really not a legitimate double play ground ball there. Gurriel did his best with it. A 2 away. Men on the corners.
Take a look here. This one hit a little bit too slow to be able to turn it, even though the Blue Jays have been good in these spots this year. Nomar Mazzara beats that out pretty easily. The other part of this too, as we mentioned, Osuna had not gotten very much work in as of late, and so yes, you want him to get work in to stay sharp, but you don't want that pitch count to get too high. 17 pitches for him so far, and the Blue Jays don't have another off day until April 7th, including May 7th, including a doubleheader that's coming up for them on Thursday against the Indians. So that's amazing. I'm looking at their schedule right now. Finish up with the Rangers tomorrow. Twins come into town starting on Monday. 4-game series. Thursday, doubleheader with the Indians, and that's it. The Indians are gone. So they must have lost games. Was that from when they had the hole in the wall or hole in the ceiling?
I think that was. I thought that was with Kansas City, but
yeah. Oh, and look, it says postponed. Oh, they're they're in Cleveland. They're going to Cleveland.
Okay.
So they go to Cleveland just to play a doubleheader on Thursday after playing in Minnesota and then move on to Tampa. That's fun. That is a good time.
2-strike pitch, runner goes, and Gallo fights it off.
But out of your division, that's what happens, right?
True.
You only go to Cleveland once a year, and so there's not another trip to try to make up those games. So go to Minnesota for 4 on Sunday. Go to Cleveland for a doubleheader on Thursday, and then head down to Tampa Bay for 3. Rough stretch. So point being, when I'm talking about Ozuna, 20 pitches right now. I don't think I let him go past Joey Gallo if Joey Gallo could find a way to get on.
A swing and a miss, strike 3, and he gets him. It's the first time the Rangers have ever scored off Ozuna. Delano DeShields with some really clever base running, and they scratch out an insurance run. (7-3) Rangers, and 3 outs away from finishing this one off. Tomorrow we'll wrap up this series. Little day baseball, morning baseball, even if you want to look at it that way. Our coverage will begin at 11:30 a.m. Martin Perez, 1-1 with a 2.08 ERA against the Blue Jays in his career, and the lefty Jay Happ will take the ball for Toronto. And who knows? A situation where the Rangers could be looking for a sweep. Kevin Jepsen, he'll get the heart of the order. Solarte, Pilar, and Gurriel in this 9th inning.
Jepsen pitched last night, threw 12 pitches in that game for the Rangers. Uh-oh.
Foul tip, took a little bite out of Chirinos.
Take a look at this pitch here. Breaking ball. Solarte just tips straight down, and it's a nice treat in the 9th inning for Robinson Chirinos. Now a Soprano, maybe.
Man. The worst part there is got to be at the end of the game. You're like, oh, I'm almost done.
almost free and clear.
Ground ball, second base. Tyner Falefa throws out Solarte, 1 away in the 9th inning.
Take a look at the pitch arsenal for Kevin Jepsen. The fastball's been averaging 92 miles an hour. Curveball 35% of the time at 81, and that occasional changeup that he will use once in a while. Jepsen's done a really nice job against right-handed hitters. 194 batting average against. Ground ball rate at 46%, slightly above league average, which is usually around 44. That ground ball rate very important for Kevin Jepsen. Not a big swing and miss guy. Strikeout rate just 5.1 per 9. His swing and miss rate is 19%. League rate average is 23. So ground ball is very important for Jepsen.
1-1. The count on Pilar. Rangers lead by 4 with an insurance run in the 9th inning off Roberto Osuna, a pitcher against whom they had never scored regular season or postseason. Nearly 20 innings. Swing and a miss. That is strike 2 on Pilar. In fact, the Rangers in 19 2/3 innings had managed 5 hits off Osuna. To say that he had dominated Texas over the years would be to understate things just a little bit. But that guy, Delano DeShields, with some very clever base running, helped scratch out that run. In the dirt, it's 2-2. It's tough. You mentioned it, man. Closers coming in a game like that where you're just getting to work, so to speak.
It's been amazing how consistent that is for closers, giving up runs in those spots. There's something about the intensity feeding off the moment of the game that really propels those guys.
Well, Pilar puts a charge into that one down the right field line, and it just gets over the wall. Second home run of the afternoon for Pilar. And just like that, it is a 3-run game.
Take a look at this 2-2 pitch from Jepsen. You see how it worked down and away. Not a bad pitch at all. Good location. Actually, very good pitch. And give credit to Kevin Pilar for the solid at bat and approach as he hits that one almost in the same spot that we saw Robinson Chirinos go out back in the 2nd inning.
Breaking ball. And just misses apparently low to Gurriel, who homered his last time up. And that gets Kella back up in the Rangers' pen. Comebacker, and Jepsen right there for it. Good underhand to first, and there are 2 away. Almost rushed that underhand.
It did, and for guys that do this, first of all, really good play here. Gets that ground ball, fields it himself. But started doing that later in my career as well, and I think for a lot of guys, they get uncomfortable sometimes throwing the ball overhand when it's not kind of a bang-bang play, and you have time to think about it a little bit, and you start to get a little bit more comfortable just kind of running over and underhanding that ball, get it out as quickly as possible.
So now Morales, who is 0 for 3 today with 3 ground outs. Quiet day for him, and that average continuing to dip down to 170 for Morales. Jepsen's 1-0.
We won't see Kella unless somebody gets on base. Of course, once the inning has started, not a save situation until the tying run is on deck. So if the Rangers up by 3, that would require runner on base to make it a save situation.
There's a strike, 2-1.
Which, if that were to happen, you think about the save that Kella had last night. 5 pitches, 5 strikes, right? 2 pitches, 2 outs, and a 3-pitch strikeout. Imagine if Morales were to find a way on, bring in Kella, or maybe a 1 or 2 pitch save, and call it 2 saves over 7 pitches. You'd like to see it end here, of course, and Kevin Jepsen finish it up.
Cologne wins 7. Diekman a scoreless 8th, and now Jepsen is 3-1 pitch. And that is outside ball 4. So he is put a runner on Morales. And here comes Jeff Bannister. Yep. And, you know, this is a walk he was certainly hoping to avoid today. But Keone Kela charged with finishing this one off. Rangers lead by 3. All right, a 3-run lead for Keone Kela, who really handled himself well last night.
He certainly did. What a save for him. Just 5 pitches when it was all said and done. A quick good morning right here with the first pitch fly ball. George Profar was able to handle that one. Oh, good afternoon. Pop up here. This one a little bit deeper, but an F9 nonetheless. And then a 3-pitch strikeout. Good night. This one was over very quickly. 5 pitches, 5 strikes when it was all said and done. So Kela will come on now with a runner on. Potential tying run on deck that he does not want to face.
Yeah, and he has no interest or need to worry about the good morning or good afternoon. I mean, really, he just wants to jump right ahead to the good night. Luke Maile, 1 for 3.
A lot of people.
That one off of Torinos, and it allows Morales to go to second base.
Kela doesn't have to worry about that. That run means nothing. Even the runner or the batter in the box, not as consequential. But you go after your hitter, you don't worry about the runner on base. But I was going to say, some people say, well, why do you bring him into this situation? Does it really matter? Can Kevin Jepsen get this out? He can. But I got to tell you, I love the idea of Jeff Bannister giving Kela the opportunity to stockpile some saves. Think about trying to build them up and seeing that number there, 5 so far this month. And to continue in that trend again, you know, you like to think that your numbers are not what can give you confidence, and certainly Kela does not lack confidence, but there's something about seeing those saves start to rack up that'll make any pitcher feel good.
Two and one. And this one lifted out to right field. Mazara going back. DeShields converging. Mazara makes the play. And DeShields with a little flourish at the end. And the Rangers win this one 7-4. They've taken the first 2 games of this series. And now riding their longest win streak of the season at 3.
Well, this was fantastic. And on the 2-1 count, this ball was driven a little bit to deep right field, but Nomar had plenty of room. But of course, Delino's so quick, come over and just kind of back it up. You see Nomar calling for it, so he was going after it. Delino goes down, a little somersault, a big smile from both of those guys, and a nice victory here for the Texas Rangers. Good job all the way around. Delino saying, I could have caught it. I would have had it anyway. But a good day for him with his double and walk, scored a couple of runs. Robinson Trinos, of course, had the big day as well. But Bartolo Colon with the W, 2 closer for that record for Dominican-born pitchers.
Well, 1 closer. 2 away.
2 away, sorry. One closer. You know what I meant.
Hey, speaking of 2, Robinson Chirinos hit 2 of these.
Yeah, he did, and he did it in good fashion where he went the other way in his first at-bat in the second inning, solo home run, and then in the 6th inning got a hold of one that he could pull and really drove that ball to deep left field. And Robinson Chirinos continues to slug. That's the thing that we have seen with him. It is the extra base hits, something we saw a year ago, and he is picking up where he left off from 2017.